From MSC resuming cruising next week to some surprising protocols such as COVID tests at the port, a brand new ventilation system that can wipe out viruses, to news from Norwegian and more, we've put together all the best cruise news for you. Well, ahoy there, cruisers!
We're Cruise with Ben and David, and welcome to this week's Cruise News Roundup.
So, all major cruise lines have cancelled cruises now until November. The Cruise Line International Association announced that its members, which include almost every cruise line, including Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, Disney, Holland America and Carnival, that they will voluntarily suspend cruises until at least October 31st. Virgin Voyages are also suspending sailing, but have yet to name a new date for the first sailing of their ship, Scarlet Lady. This really isn't surprising news, but it's really sad nonetheless. The disastrous start of some cruise lines over the last few weeks, such as the Hurtigruten incident, have obviously had a big impact of when cruise lines are going to start again. We are beginning to worry about how long cruise lines can last without any cruising. They are legitimately bleeding money. They did say that if conditions changed, shorter cruises could resume actually earlier than this. So that's a little bit of good news, isn't it?
A little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, a little bit of positivity.
Well, we need some positivity, don't we? It's just been all bad news. It's so annoying, guys.
It's so frustrating. It's like
one step forward, two steps back.
Yeah, that's how it feels like. Yeah, that's exactly how it feels.
It does.
But fingers crossed, things progress and that we are able to get back to cruising soon. And talking about some good news, we have some good news from MSC Cruises. They've announced that they plan to start cruising in just over a week, Ben.
Amazing.
How good is that? They will start cruising with just two ships, the MSC Grandiosa and the Magnifica. The Grandiosa will sail 7-night voyages in the Western Mediterranean, visiting the ports of Malta and Italy. MSC Magnifica will sail the Eastern Mediterranean and include stops in Greece and Croatia. But the bad news is that anybody from the UK or the USA or Ireland, don't get too excited, guys, because these cruises are only open to residents of the Schengen zone countries within the EU. So, what are MSC's plans to make the ships COVID safe?
Well, the most interesting aspect is the boarding phase. It will be a 3-step embarkation process that includes a temperature check, a health questionnaire, and a rapid swab test. Yes, an actual COVID test in port. How effective these will be is anyone's guess, because as we know, the rapid tests have proved to be completely useless in some cases, coming back with false positives and all of that jazz, so people could get caught out when they don't have COVID or the other way around. All crew members will also be tested during the passenger boarding phase.
Passengers from high-risk areas will also be given a second molecular test.
A second molecular
What's
test? A molecular test?
That sounds like some sort of crazy sci-fi thing.
And how quick are the results going to be as well? That's the main thing. 'Cause at the moment, they're coming back between sort of 2 and 4 days.
And to be honest, for us, we would not want to start a vacation that includes testing.
The capacity of the ships will also be reduced, with a limited number of guests allowed in certain venues. Guests who do feel ill will receive completely free treatment in the onboard medical facilities. There will also be isolation rooms in case of an outbreak, and temperature checks will be carried out on a daily basis all around the ship in different stations, as well as when you return from a shore excursion.
And when it comes to port excursions, they're going to be strictly controlled. Passengers will be unable to explore alone. They must book one of the MSC shore excursions to enjoy the ports of call. Excursions will depart in smaller groups, so it'll be wise to book early.
Wow, that's a little bit different, isn't it?
That's very different.
You've got to think about the extra cost involved with this as well, because obviously doing all of the excursions in the ports is going to cost a lot more money than it would be doing DIY like we like to do in ports. So we use local transportation, the trains, the buses, and just have a nice walk around. We like to do it by ourselves, because otherwise it feels a little bit forced, doesn't it?
Yeah, that really takes away from the cruise experience for us. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments section below.
For us, because we've missed sailing so much, I think I would probably stay on board.
Yeah, but I'd also be interested to see how much these excursions are going to be, and will they be more expensive because they're going in smaller groups, which obviously means that they need more staff, more people to run the excursions.
Absolutely. Social distancing will obviously play a large part, with restaurants, bars and lounges all being reconfigured to maintain that space. And restaurants and bars will also have guests ordering from their mobile devices, as opposed to using actual physical paper or card menus. And the buffet will remain, but with crew serving passengers, just like the Holland America model, which we said would happen way back at the start. But gosh, that's a lot.
That is a lot of information, but you've got to expect all this information to make sure that people feel safe when they're cruising.
They've obviously done a tremendous job in putting this all together, but would that make you feel safe? Is it going to stop COVID? Other companies have done similar things and it still got through. We don't think so, unfortunately. It will probably slip through the net somewhere. No matter what you do, this virus is ruthless.
So would you cruise on an MSC cruise at this time? Let us know in the comments section below. We'd love to hear your opinion.
And we've got a poll up on our Facebook page that we put up every week. And we always post things like loads of news and content there as well. So make sure you give us a follow. We're called Cruise With on Facebook.
Next, could a new ventilation system help make cruising safer? Well, an Italian company called Integra has created an air sanitizer that works with a ship's ventilation systems.
This new system could be revolutionary in keeping cruises a safer, cleaner place. Basically, the system would pump out a disinfectant, which the company says will combat most common airborne illnesses. It's odourless, non-toxic and environmentally friendly. And the disinfectant would also help sanitise surfaces too, keeping everything very clean and hopefully virus-free. And the system's also able to pump out fragrances too. Not sure why, but then again, they say it's alcohol-free and safe.
When you mentioned that, I just had this vision of, do you know when you see these contamination booths where people walk in and they get like spritzed?
Well, yeah, I don't know how I feel about disinfectant being sprayed out of an air conditioning system all the time. I know they say it's safe, but what if you're sort of allergic to chemicals or different types of sanitizers?
Yeah.
Will that have an effect?
Yeah, but you always see the sprays in the bathrooms, like the automatic room fresheners. So it's really just the same thing, I guess.
Yeah. One of the benefits is that Integra said the technology can be installed on ships easily and quickly. And they stated it can be installed in just 15 minutes. That's crazy. And the system only needs cleaning every year, so it's really low maintenance.
The company says that 3 cruise lines are close to signing a deal, but they didn't say which cruise lines they are.
So coming back again to the chemicals and disinfectants being used, what if you're allergic to them? Well, the company has said, given all of the chemicals that are going to be used in order to combat the virus, it's going to be the same everywhere, no matter what kind of device is used.
Yeah, essentially. So these chemicals are already going to be used on board ships anyway, I guess. So let's have a look at some news from Norwegian Cruise Line. Norwegian have reported a net loss of $715 million in the second quarter, with revenue plunging to less than $17 million, down from the $1.7 billion a year ago. I mean, this news is not unexpected at all.
But that's a massive 99% loss compared to last year. That's a huge hit. But CEO Frank Del Rio admitted on the latest earnings call that he was astonished how well bookings are coming in, given that the industry is suspended. Norwegian already reported a $1.2 billion of advanced ticket sales as of June 30th, 2020, but 800 million of that is coming from future cruise credits.
Norwegian has raised a total of 1.5 billion in July to bolster the liquidity and cover the losses, which they believe positions them to withstand a scenario of prolonged voyage suspensions.
That's good to hear. They did say that if cruising was cancelled past November 2020, that it would likely lead to a further negative impact. So what does that mean? They're going to have to start selling ships, or other things have to go? Norwegian have also said as soon as they are given the green light to start cruising again, it will only take them 3 or 4 weeks to restaff their ships to be ready to go. So that's really good to hear, that they'll be ready to go really quickly once they're given the green light by the CDC and the FCO and people like that.
Yep, and they said that they've been working really hard to make cruises better when they do return. They also said that their next new ship, the Leonardo class, will be ready and delivered on time in 2022.
It's going to be a smaller ship than the Breakaway class, so that's going to be a nice change. And the ship will be different with a completely different decor scheme. There'll be new restaurants as well as new entertainment. President Harry Sommer said, "I thought the Encore was beautiful. I think the Joy and Bliss are beautiful, but this ship is just off the charts fantastic." So that's some really good news. We cannot wait to see what the Leonardo class ship looks like.
Something to look forward to.
Yes.
And it's nice that it's a completely different type of ship, because
And
some
smaller.
of the and some of the Norwegian ships are very, very similar. You already know what they're going to look like, essentially, don't you? So it's nice that it's something completely new.
So it looks like they're moving away from their current design scheme and look of the ships to something completely different. Surprising.
Next up, guidance has been issued for resuming safe cruise operations in the European Union. The European Maritime Safety Agency and the European Centre for Disease Prevention and Control have worked together to develop a plan.
This coincides obviously with the start of MSC cruising in just a week's time. The International Maritime Organisation has circulated the information meant for any ship that visits the EU, irrespective of the flag that they carry. This guidance includes a management plan and tailor-made risk assessments by each company, detailed plans as well as carrying out drills and exercises on board for preparing for outbreaks, information for ports and what measures should be put in place, and established procedures and plans made by cruise lines and ports in case of an outbreak.
In the case of an outbreak, the ship should divert to the closest port for testing.
Next up, an update on the outbreak on the Hurtigruten ship last week. If you haven't watched our last video yet, please check it out now. It has all the information in there. At least 21 passengers and 41 crew now have tested positive. Hundreds more passengers remain in quarantine until test results come back. All the passengers have now been contacted and told to self-isolate for 10 days. So this is worrying news. Norway's government has announced that it will stop all cruise ships with more than 100 people on board from disembarking passengers for at least 2 weeks.
Yeah, so this is a step back, isn't it, on the progress that we were seeing in getting back to cruise?
Yeah, when we last talked to you, there was just 36 crew who were contaminated. Now it's 21 passengers as well.
Police are also investigating if any laws have been broken by the cruise line, saying that we've found grounds to open a case. Hurtigruten have suspended its leader of maritime operations after the outbreak as well.
And finally, some more bad news for the first cruise line to return to cruising in the USA. The very first cruise ship to return to cruising in the USA has had to turn back after just 3 days after a passenger tested positive for COVID. The 60-passenger Wilderness Adventurer had set off from Juneau for a cruise to Alaska. The uncruise adventure ship was under halfway into its week-long voyage. The cruise was stopped after a passenger received a phone call from the state of Alaska with notification of a positive COVID-19 test. All passengers were then confined to cabins and fed in their cabins before arriving into Juneau. Then passengers were brought to a local hotel to begin a state-mandated quarantine. Like all other passengers, before they got on the cruise, the passenger had to take a test which actually came back negative. A second test was taken before boarding, and then that came positive once they were on the ship. The company said that the guest is showing no symptoms and nor the guests and crew are showing outward symptoms of any kind. But again, another ship with loads of procedures and protocols, again being hit by COVID. We really don't see cruising really starting properly again until there's at least a vaccine. What do you think?
Yeah, we'd love to hear what you think. Please let us know in the comments section below your thoughts on everything that we've covered in this video.
So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you so much to all of our patrons as well. We bring you extra things like behind the scenes footages, a live show every month, as well as a 2-weekly podcast. Our captain of the week is Amy. So ahoy there, Amy. That's it till next time.
Happy cruising.